Hey, what's up? Today we're going to be talking about how to find what practice area is right for you when you start your career. Let's roll that intro. Hello and welcome to Sidebars. I'm attorney James Bogatay. I'm a practicing attorney and co-director of education at Access Legal. This is a series where I talk about all things related to the legal profession with a particular focus on the access to justice issues and the small shifts attorneys must make to succeed in the modern era. I don't know it all, but I've seen a lot, working for years with clients that need representation and attorneys that want to grow their businesses. Join me as I share my experiences, both good and bad, to ultimately help attorneys like you reverse the access to justice trend, grow your practices, and of course, help more people. Let's learn a little bit, have a few laughs, and help evolve our profession. It's Sidebars with me, attorney James Bogatay. All right. Thanks for joining me today. You just graduated law school. You passed the bar. Congratulations. What are you going to do now? Most of us don't get the opportunity to really dive into what type of practice we want to run, what type of lawyer we want to be, what type of area of law we want to work in for the rest of our career. This is an exercise in self-discovery. And if you haven't engaged in this process to date, man, now is the time. Because once you get locked into a career track that you're not happy with, boy, does it affect everything in your life from that point forward. The first place I want to start is where most people start. Most people approach this the way we do other things in life. What do I like to do? What do I want to be when I grow up? What do I enjoy doing? A word of advice. Do the opposite. Explore the things you don't like doing and identify those things up front, whether that be research. I don't love research. I love aspects of the practice and client interaction. There is nothing I hate more than having to write a brief and do 3 hours of research or more. The stress of making sure you have the right case law to make sure everything's current and relevant and proper precedent is pretty stressful. It can derail your entire matter. It can derail your entire case. So if that's not for you, make sure that's something you identify and you appropriately log moving forward so that you're not engaging in things that are super research heavy, right? Heavy litigation, complex litigation on a regular basis. Do you dislike client engagement? And I don't just mean talking to your clients or dealing with your clients. If you don't like that, you might want to reevaluate what profession you're in, because obviously that's a huge part of it. But a lot of people don't like selling to clients. It makes them very uncomfortable to ask for money and to have to monetize what they do. And you've heard me say it here before if you watch the show. If you are a practicing attorney, particularly if you're in business for yourself, you're a salesperson first. And then if everything goes well, you get to be a lawyer. You can't be an attorney without clients, right? So if you don't like selling and you're going to open your own firm, identify people that can help you with that and remove that task from you. Court appearances. Some people, listen, if you grew up with a horrific fear of public speaking, trial appearances might not be your thing because that's all it is. And not only is it public speaking, but it's public speaking with an authority figure over your shoulder that's going to hold you to a very specific set of rules and a pretty rigid guideline for how all of that appearance is supposed to go. Some people don't like client management itself. And what I mean by that is like the administrative work that goes into managing your own cases, right? Things like drafting documents, doing the work in the background, filing petitions. If you don't like having to manage clients and communicate on a regular basis with clients, which is a huge part of what we do, just follow up and the ethical rule to communicate with your clients regularly. Obviously, you need to be able to identify that because you're going to get yourself in trouble mismanaging clients or not communicating with your clients appropriately. And then one of the big aspects of this that young lawyers don't think about very often when they start their own firm Do you like business management? This is your own company. Do you have the skills to make sure that your accounting is in place, to make sure that your IOLTA accounting is straight, to make sure your bills are paid, that you're investing your capital in an intelligent way, that you're spending on marketing in an intelligent way? This is a whole separate skill set that not every attorney possesses. This was my particular weakness. I'm great in court. I'm great interacting with clients, but I hated the business of running my firm. It took up a ton of time. I was not properly situated to have some support staff that would take some of those things off my hands. That's why I feel so passionately about this content and these conversations. I want you to learn from my mistakes instead of repeating them. That's crazy. If you're not strong in the realm of business management, you either need to educate yourself. We're an academic profession. You can take the time to simply learn the things you need to learn. Or again, part of this is just getting the help you need. You're not expected to be good at everything. To think that is just arrogance and foolishness in the first place. Again, this is an exercise in self-discovery. Identify the things that not only do you not like, but maybe aren't exactly your strong suit as well. Sometimes you're not going to know until you get into it. All of this sounds great on the front end, and you may have done this exercise and convinced yourself, hey, I know what I love. I know what I want to do. I've known since I was a kid, I want to be a crim defense attorney. Cool. Be self-aware and mindful of how that career makes you feel, how that actual practice makes you feel, and please pivot when you are miserable. And quick sidebar here. Attorney happiness is at an all-time low. I know you have obligations and responsibilities to other people. You come first. You have to, for everyone else's sake. And more importantly, you're worth it. Also, be mindful of the fact that obviously this is a really complicated dynamic. It isn't just a one-size-fits-all. So although you may have identified things that you don't particularly gravitate toward, or you don't feel very strong in, or you don't think you like, based on your personal experiences, unless you've been in that area of law and actually experienced it for yourself, just keep an open mind. Some of the best parts of my life are things that I said I would never do. I moved to Las Vegas saying I would never marry someone that's previously been married. I married my wife. She had been divorced once prior. I always said I would never marry somebody that had a child. My wife had a daughter at the time. She is one of my favorite people in the entire world. I adopted her. She brings so much joy into my life you can't imagine. I used to say I would never, the only area of law I would never practice is family law. It's too messy. There's too many feelings. I'm a family law attorney. My firm's name is Bogatay Family Law. It's the only thing I do. I love it. It brings me joy. It brings me happiness because of the way I get to interact people and help people. I consider myself a family man, a good husband, a good dad. I like to be able to share those experiences and those skills and my knowledge in that area to help other people navigate relationships that aren't going so well, soft land those things. So the kids are protected and the people involved are able to soft land a failing relationship in a way that's really healthy for everyone. And they're able to maintain their friendships. The kids are able to maintain positive co-parents. When I first started advertising and marketing for clients, I used to get guardianship petitions. And I used to constantly scowl and complain and say, I don't even want these types of cases. And then I spoke with a guardianship attorney and I learned what the actual process was. And then I wound up loving those clients, loving those cases. They were profitable. At the end of the case, the judge would come down with me and the family and take pictures. It was the greatest feeling of helping parents care for their disabled children, kids with special needs, past their 18th birthday. I had no idea how rewarding something like that could be. I just went into it like, this is a pain in the butt. These are cases that I don't want. So keep a super open mind, even though you think you don't like something. keep an open mind to the fact that the actual experience might change your mind. And then that works on the flip side too. I interned for a criminal judge. I went to law school. My entire application was about being a criminal defense attorney. It took me one court-appointed case to realize that that wasn't for me. And it was mostly the pressure, just the stress. If I fail, my client goes to prison for 8 years. I didn't like the way that made me feel. I like helping people. I want to keep those people free, keep those people in their liberties. But the idea that if I fail, they're deprived of those things was something that was actually too heavy for what I wanted to deal with on a daily basis. So much of this process is truly not only self-exploration, but being incredibly attentive to what makes you click, what makes you happy, what makes you upset. Because if you choose the wrong path, the amount of time and effort it takes to course correct as you go down that path is exponentially harder and harder and harder. If you're a young attorney out there and you started some job and it makes you really unhappy, is it the firm? Is it the practice area? Is it the profession? Be mindful of these things and be strong enough to pivot whenever it's not jiving with you. In conclusion, take the time to do this analysis. Don't just jump into something because somebody offered you a job. Your happiness directly affects all of those around you. It affects your work product, and it's ultimately going to affect your level of success if you're doing something you're not passionate about. Now's the part of the show where we can actually help each other. If you're a young attorney just getting started, please drop a comment and let me know how I could better help you find the career path that you're looking for. And if you're not an attorney, I'd love to hear, what'd you want to be when you grew up versus where are you now? A quick sidebar. I recently found out that out of everybody viewing the show, which I love and appreciate, only 9% of you are actually subscribing. Come on, man. Get with it. Subscribe to the show. Not only does it help us, but it helps get the word out and ultimately help more people. Thanks again. See you in the next video.